That makes it so easy for me now. It slipped.
Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Mike.
I'm Andrew.
And this is the Board Game Rundown.
Yes, it is.
Today, we are going to get into the best games with the best components.
Games with the best components.
Okay, I
Best
picked...
games with the...
Yeah, no,
Both,
that's fair.
Maybe.
Yeah, whatever.
My
Maybe
list-
they need to be good games. They should be.
Right.
They should be good games.
I just went through games that I love because there are some
Yes.
that I don't love that have great components. And I was like, other people are going to talk about those.
I snuck one on my list that I don't like that much, but I just love the components, and it's the only reason it's still on my shelf.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But
That's
if you like nice components, miniatures, dual layer player boards, beautiful art,
Or
this
just
is
products well done.
Yeah.
Just products well done.
good looking games that play well. This is the list for you.
And before we get into that list, Mike,
You
what
need
should
to
we
make
do?
sure that you like, that
Yes.
you subscribe,
Yes.
and you hit us up in the Discord.
Yeah.
Tell us your favorite games with the best components.
Also comment on the video so everybody can see you and then
Let
put
us
you on
know,
blast.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Your opinions on what we think, because we care.
That's right.
We
So-
wait, we care?
I don't.
Oh, okay. Just make it
I'm
sure
gonna make
that wasn't
I'm gonna make a lot of people mad with one
Candyland.
of these.
I really hope it's like Candyland.
Yeah, just
I've got a
change-
deluxe
just
edition of
change heart,
Candyland.
Yeah.
He tracked down that one on Etsy, I think.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we're going to go left to right. We've each got 10. We'll have some honorable mentions afterwards. Here we go.
Number 10.
Number
10. So I did pick a few games that are retail games only because I think some retail games still deserve love.
I think it would be important that we kind of
I don't-
explain a little bit how we did ours, because I try to avoid deluxe editions. So yeah, keep.
Okay.
I don't have a ton of deluxe
I don't have a
editions,
deluxe-
I
surprisingly,
have
on mine.
mostly deluxe editions.
No, it's cool.
Weasel.
And then I've got 3 retail games. So, well, some of these I guess you could call them deluxe, but
Sure.
that's the only way they make that game is
Right.
deluxe.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
have to get it through their website, that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, that doesn't count. If it's
All right.
if you only can get the game
That's
and
all
it
you get.
just comes that way, then
Yes.
it's not deluxe.
that's what I thought. So, my number 10,
Terrible game.
I agree as well.
Oh.
No, it's not that. It's not that bad.
Foundations
I
of Rome?
sold it though. It's published by Czech Games. It's the Italian design team of Luciani and Tassini,
Uh-huh.
and this is Zolkin, the Mayan calendar.
Oh,
The reason the components for this game are amazing,
Mm-hmm.
the box art isn't that great. Not that the art is bad. The art's decent. It does have these cool blue skulls that I kind of like, but what makes Zolkin sing is that it is a worker placement game with a timing mechanism. You place your worker onto a gear,
Yeah.
and then it rotates. And it's interconnected with 4 different gears. And when you rotate one, all of them rotate.
Yeah.
Okay. Then on your next turn, you get to pull your worker off. Well, the longer you wait, the more valuable that spot becomes, the more resources you get. And the fact that mechanism is a component is just fascinating to me. Like, it is the Mayan calendar. It's the
Right.
Zolkin, and they made it look that way, and it really looks awesome, and it makes the game, like the timing mechanism of that gear is the game, and no other game has done that I've seen.
not like that.
And I've seen people paint that.
Oh,
that
yeah,
gear.
I was just gonna
it looks
say.
so awesome
Yeah,
when
ask-
people paint it.
ask to see my sisters when we're down there next week.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. I will. I hope she doesn't slap me.
Does
though.
the game end in
Yeah, yeah.
2012? I haven't played this game.
Yeah, it does.
Oh,
Okay, gotcha.
yeah, it came out like about 10 years ago. It was one of the first, probably.
Yeah, you missed it.
I
Forget
did.
it, Mike.
Dang it! It was one of the first 10 to 20
Remember when
games
we were,
I bought
were
and
you
put
guys
in my
freaking out
collection.
in 2012? on
No,
that?
I was not freaking out
Okay.
because I don't
Oh,
believe
Neither
in
was
that
I.
junk.
Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
but it would have been
boy.
cool.
Okay, so there you go. Mine,
It would have been better than that movie. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that.
mine is Zolkin, my first retail edition that is on my list.
All right, my number 10 is a great game, and not only
see.
is it are the components absolutely fantastic, but the game you get for the value, for the price, is amazing. So, like, if you're just trying to get an amazing looking game with fun components for really good value, Dice Forge is cannot miss.
Wow.
Dice Forge is one of the. It was the second game I played where you could change the
Yeah.
faces on the die. I
Very
played
cool.
the
Rattlebones.
rattle bones, whatever. It was okay. It felt kind of flat with us. But then I played Dice Forge and I was like, holy smokes, this game is amazing. And the way that you can pop out your die faces, and then you can, you change them out. There's no downtime in the game because you're rolling your die. You know what I mean? You're gaining things every turn. The board looks beautiful. You've got all these cards with nice artwork that you lay out. Everything looks really good. The insert where that tray that holds all the extra
Yeah.
die faces is amazing.
Great insert.
So Dice Forge not only is just like super well made, big chunky dice, and they're slightly different colors, so
Yeah.
you know which one's like your moon die and your sun die or whatever. Great components. Absolutely love Dice Forge, and it's $30, I think, retail. It's super cheap retail.
It really is.
Dirt cheap retail.
The only thing they could have done, which was discovered later by its hotter cousin Dice Realms,
Yes.
is they could have included a little shovel to dig your
Yeah.
die faces out.
I
But
never needed that though.
But you know
I never
what?
needed that.
You use the corner of the other die faces. They're specifically slotted so that you
I don't
can use
remember
the
that.
corners.
It's been a while since I've played it.
Pro tip, buddy.
Yep.
Pro tip.
Nice. That's a good pro tip.
Hot cousin
I
pro
like
tip.
Dice Forge. I always feel like it's a little short. Like I want to play 2 more rounds because I get that die
Well-
face I've been waiting for the whole game. I don't get to roll it.
I will tell you what, I 100% Dice Realms is a heavier, more satisfying game, but Dice Forge is way more accessible and super easy and better looking.
No question.
So, Dice Realms is like the smarter cousin, but do you want the hot cousin or the smart cousin?
Dice Forge is
Yes.
hotter. Yes. The Dice Forge has a better personality.
To use that analogy, I guess.
There you go.
So Andrew, you're number 10.
So my number 10 is a retail. Most of mine are retail. This game, when I first played it, it felt like a game of like a 4-player chess game, but it looks and feels nothing like chess. But you open it up and just the color palette for this game is beautiful. I use it in my classroom because I teach biology, and I use it to like teach this big process and like how does this game represent this process well? How would you fix it? And that my number 10 is photosynthesis. I love the fact that you have different sized trees, and based on where the sun is angled on the board, your trees give off a shadow, which with the right lighting, you could probably make work if you got everything just right. That would be kind of cool. The trees in photosynthesis are a really cool component. The quality of them does diminish a little bit over time.
It's cardboard punch out
where you're
that you
putting
stand
stuff
together,
in between.
yeah.
They split, and that's fine. But that's okay. The use of different sized trees makes photosynthesis my number 10.
It's got a really nice table presence too. It is a
Yes.
game that I think it's just because I'm so bad at it that I just don't have very much fun playing. But I love the concept of it, and I think it looks really good.
It has a viticulture feel in the sense that it takes a long time to get those victory points.
Oh, sure.
You have to plant your seed, then you have
Then
to
you-
level your tree up.
your tree's
3
gotta
times,
grow.
and then you got to harvest it. It's like, man, this is a lot of effort. So it's kind of got that viticulture effect there, but
Sure.
that doesn't detract from the fact that the component aspect earns its.
And the only
Earns
other
its place
difference
in
is
my
that I
top 10.
love viticulture and photosynthesis while very pretty. But no, it's a good pick. And as a science teacher, right? It's a
It's
super,
perfect.
yeah, that's awesome.
Fun fact, I've only been to Village Well once. That's a now closed local game store here in town. And I played photosynthesis while I was there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah. I was a little concerned about replayability. It seemed
sure.
like it would be the same every time. But it's a fun game.
The start of the
it's very
game could feel very
Samey.
Yes.
samey. Yeah.
Number 9.
9.
I fought
That was harmonic.
myself
That's very-
Very harmonic.
against putting this on the list because the game falls flat for me. It's Dinosaur Island.
I love it.
But it's gorgeous, especially if you have the Kickstarter edition like I
Yeah,
do.
I do.
gorgeous.
It has translucent DNA dice. Those are
Yes.
some of my
Cool.
favorite dice
Yes.
in the game.
Very
They
cool.
are amazing. There are, I don't know how many sculpts of dinosaur meeples. I actually really like that neon, like green, pink theme that it's got going on.
I hated it initially, and then it won me over. And I'm like, I didn't like it, and then I started playing the game, started having a blast. I love the game, and then by the end of it, I'm like, I love this whole team.
Yeah.
I love the way it all looks and feels.
Like I'll try it again. It fell flat for me, and I do hang on to it because of the components.
Hey.
It's just so good to look at. The Kickstarter actually came with a first player slap bracelet.
Oh yeah.
Remember
Cool.
that?
Yeah.
That's sweet.
I mean, that's the coolest first player marker I've ever seen in a game. Like, how could I leave that off of this list? And
Right.
it's still got that neon yellow, green, pinkish theme color going
Right.
on. I like that color scheme. I like the art. So yeah, I oh, and the coins.
Oh, their metal coins are good.
They're so
these
thick
deluxe
and they're
coins?
hefty. They're deluxeified coins.
Gotcha.
Everything I'm talking about is
All right.
from the deluxe. And honorable mention, just real quick, Dinosaur World might have my favorite coins in any game.
Oh,
I've
even
ever
better than Dino
seen.
Island?
They're unique
Why do dinosaurs
shapes.
have
Oh,
coins?
They're
nice.
not just circles. Well, you need money to buy dinosaurs. This is
Of course.
come on, you know.
Can't buy those
played it, sorry.
mosquitoes preserved in amber, for nothing. You
Right,
gotta-
they're very expensive on the black market. So my number 9, Dinosaur Island, with Dinosaur World coins to go with.
So my number 9 is a game that I just feel like everybody should play because it's so much fun. And it has some of the most amazing components just in a game right out of the box, no special edition. Again, just retail from Matago Games, Treasure Island. So Treasure Island has a beautiful map. Basically, one player is Long John Silver, Long John Silver, and he's locked up in a tower.
Okay.
And everybody else is trying to find his treasure.
Okay.
I'm trying
Now-
to find his hush puppies.
Oh, the best. Then, after a certain amount of turns, though, he escapes from the tower.
Okay.
And he is going to try to get to his treasure before
A player
everybody else.
controls Long John?
Yes.
Okay.
And so while that player is locked in the tower, the other players are asking questions or like clues.
Okay.
So it might be like, am I within 2 miles of this? And so what makes the components amazing is that it comes with all of these like clear like dials and like these like circular templates. So you draw a circle, right? Like I'm going to search in this range. And so if it's within that range, you just have to say yes or, whatever, you can mark. You're marking stuff like dry erase. So there's all this dry erase stuff. The pirate's got his own board where he's marked his treasure. So there's all these different things and everybody's racing around trying to do this stuff. And it feels so thematic because you're basically arguing over a treasure map, right? You're looking at this map of the island and then the board is 2-sided. So the one side actually looks like a treasure map. It's like parchment, sepia tone. And then the other side is, all nice and green and blue, and there's like landmarks and things like that. And it is so much fun. This is a game that you can lose in 5 minutes. Just depending on like if somebody like lucks into the treasure, like right away. But it's
Playtime 5 minutes to 2 hours.
Yeah. But it should never go 2 hours. But then there's like another thing where like if somebody digs, they get a the Long John has the opportunity or the option. He basically takes his treasure chest and he puts a token in it, and it could be the treasure, you won the game, or it could be like a bonus for like another thing. And then the more of these bonuses that he gives out are better cards that he can play later on
cool.
his turn.
Okay.
So, but you could also just give him the treasure chest and it's empty.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, okay. So there's all kinds of fun
Is
things
it
to
an
do.
actual
It's like a
chest?
little like cardboard punch out
Well, that's
chest.
great.
But I mean, but again, it's got like a compass, that you can use. So you're like, you could draw your circles and all kinds of very cool templates and, great magic markers that come in there and everything. And it's just like the components in there are just crazy good and super fun. And it's kind of an underrated hidden gem for me. But Treasure Island, it would have been on my underrated games, but it's ranked 647. So it's underrated still, just not
Yes,
criminally underrated.
Not criminally underrated.
Right.
The FBI hasn't called yet.
Not yet.
So this game, my number 9, it's nothing flashy, it's nothing fancy, but when I first started getting into board games, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I never knew that chips could be used in games, and I was just so I'm not sure if they're clay or plastic, but I was just like, I used to play poker back in the day, and I was like, I saw these chips, and I was just like, this is such a clean, beautiful game. My number 9, it's nothing flashy. You can go to Target and get this game. Splendor.
Oh, I like Splendor. Really well made.
A nice game. There's nothing too fancy about it, but I like the clean use of different color chips. It's easy to learn. It's easy to teach. It's
Really,
my number 9.
really
It's
good
up
artwork.
high,
Don't
but it's
apologize
good-
for it. It's good artwork.
Good artwork.
Yeah, it's good artwork. I like the chips a lot.
You look disappointed.
I
Did you put Splendor in there?
No,
Okay,
no,
yeah,
I did
you are
not.
way
I'm
more
very
well-versed.
surprised that Splendor made this list.
Why?
However, I love Splendor, and I've played it like 50, 60
I love
times.
Splendor.
I've played it so much.
I think it's easy to overlook because it's and I don't mean this in a bad way.
It's an evergreen.
But
it's an old.
it's a pretty simple, like a relatively simple game to, teach and play.
Sure.
But there's still like a ton of strategy. But that game is actually really well made.
Yes.
With the way the artwork on the cards and the iconography is great.
Yep.
And those chips are awesome.
Yes.
That might be one of the first games I also had with the poker chip things. I actually, they were demoing it here in the store where we filmed.
Okay, cool.
And I was like, the guy taught me like a couple, I played a couple rounds with whatever employee was teaching it. And I was like, I kind of got to buy this.
Yeah.
So,
it's really good.
Everything is well made. This isn't about how fun a game is. This is games with good quality. Maybe I just have an attachment to it because it was one of the first games where I experienced
is that Space Cowboys? Who makes
board game with
Splendor?
chips?
It is, yes.
No idea.
It's really good. Probably somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
No, good pick. I like it.
Number 9, Splendor. Nice and easy. Number
8. So this is my other retail game on the list. It's also a Czech Games Edition game.
Yes.
It is published by Elwyn and designed by Elwyn and Min, and this is Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Okay.
Every time I play this game, I just like it more and more, and that is one of the reasons I put it on this list. However, the reason I put it on this list is, one, I like the box art. It's got that kind of semi-realistic, but a little bit cartoony,
little
whimsical art, but it sets the tone. Like, there's these people adventuring, and there's this like big thing off in the
like a big old
distance that you
temple.
can see that they're going to go out and explore. I think that really comes out in the board art. I love the board art for this game because it's like, well, you're starting here. We're all down here, and we can do these basic things just on foot. But, well, you're going to need a Jeep, and then you can travel along this land over here. Well, if you got a boat, you can go over to this area over here. Well, if you got a plane, you can go to these areas way out here.
Is this just on the box art?
This is the board.
Oh, okay.
He's moved into the board.
The board.
The box had Jeeps and airplanes.
No,
I'm like, I did not see that.
The cards are the vehicles that allow you to move to these locations in what is a worker placement deck building game. The card art is okay. Like it's along the same style. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's good. But what I really like, not only is that board art, I love the Guardians. The Guardians have fantastically painted just like monsters that like you're going to go explore this place, and now it's a new worker placement location, but it also has a guardian that you're going to have to kill, or otherwise you're going to gain a fear card for just going there, exploring it, leaving him alive, and you're basically discarding resources to get rid of those guardians. But the guardians are just drawn so well.
Yeah.
Not to mention, for a retail game, it has plastic red gems, plastic blue arrowheads, and these cool looking acrylic like tablets that you can throw a little wash on, and it just they just really good components for a retail game. I love the art, and I really love the game.
It's a really good game. It's a really good game. I've only played it a handful of times, but pretty solid. Pretty solid, but not as solid as my number 8. Not that it's competition. My number 8 is one of the first sandbox games I ever played. It is got amazing coins. It has pre-painted miniatures, which I love, and just really good components overall. It is Zaya: Legend of a Drift System.
This played that game.
Is a straight up 4X game. You can play by going after your opponents. You can pick up and deliver. Contract fulfillment. All these different things. They've even got expansions which add comets that like move through. There's like police ship that patrols, and like a bandit ship basically, or an outlaw ship that patrols through. But again, and then your armaments and stuff, you are buying, and that's tiles that you're laying on your ship. So they also have to fit the outline of your ship. So your player card is basically your ship, and you can not at any time, but as you get into the game, you can spend money and buy a different ship. Like, well, I'm out of this one. I'm into into this one now. And there's so many interesting things you can do in this game. Have you played it?
I have.
And I love you can scan. So when you get to the edge of a tile and there's nothing on the other side, you can scan that sector, and then that would let you take that tile, the next tile like in the stack, and reveal it and place it. And now you know what you're going to jump into, or you can jump blindly. The problem is one of those tiles in that stack is a sun. So you can fly directly into the sun.
Yes.
But the artwork's really good in this game. I've enjoyed this game every time I played it. I usually only play like the shorter, like only play to like 10.
medium game.
Yeah, like the medium weight. I would love to like hunker down and play like a long, longer version of the game. But one of the great things is you basically, when you sit down to play it, you can play the short, medium, or long game. And you just play to somebody gets to so many fame points. So you can mitigate your experience there as well. Hard to find, unfortunately.
I think it's back in stock on a lot of online retail.
So they did a Kickstarter where they did like another print run. So hopefully, people can get it. I bought mine on the secondary market after the first Kickstarter. I didn't overpay, thankfully. Like, I think I actually kind of got it for what it was. And then I got in on the second Kickstarter just for the expansion stuff. But Zaya Legend of a Drift System is super fun, sci-fi, kind of wild game. We played one game. We talk about games where you've got a story, like you remember every time. My niece, my buddy Pete was just trying to get like one more fame point. And my niece's ship she's just kind of like limping along, right? Because she had flown through like an asteroid belt, took some damage. And he's like, oh, like, I'm going to get her on my next turn. On her turn, she blindly flew into the next tile, which was a sun. So then she respawned it, like, because you roll a die and you respawn.
Really far away from him or something?
Yeah, and at full health, you know what I mean? So, like,
that's great.
And he's like, oh, he still ended up winning, but it took a lot longer.
Yeah.
And she actually got a lot more points. It made it a much closer game. And was totally hilarious because, like, we still all laugh. As frustrated as he was, we were like, that was still really cool. So, anyways, I'm sorry. Zaya Legend of a Drift System is my number 8.
I'm going to need your help with this one because this is a game I have not actually played. But man, when I see this game at Bob's house, he's got it
Oh, I'm ready.
on
Well,
display.
it's one of 1,000.
I'm ready to wreck this game.
Shall we say it on 3?
Yeah.
Are you trying to guess it?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Foundations
Canvas.
of Rome. Oh,
No.
Canvas?
Canvas.
Oh, it's okay.
I have not played. Yeah. Foundations of Rome is not on my top 10. Sorry, Bob. It looks good.
I'll take care of you there.
Yeah. I'm sure someone else will. Yeah.
$250 will take care of you.
Yeah, sure. I've never played Canvas, but I saw the videos of it online. How you can merge those cards together and create a
The
card.
layering is
crafting.
really nice. Yeah.
Man, is it pretty? Those plastic.
look
There's
good.
it's like a plastic type card, really thick quality.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have to say. It was so beautiful.
It is,
makes its way into my number 8.
I'll jump on there.
I don't
with
even
you.
know how the game plays. It just looks great.
It's really well made. It's very easy to teach. It's very easy to learn. It plays very quickly. And you can even hang up the box, right? Do they make it so you
Yes.
can hang up the box as a
See, I didn't even know that.
piece of art?
That's why it gets my number.
I think the first game that did that is this really old game called Gloom, where
Okay.
like
with the
people
clear
are,
cards where
yeah,
you
the
layer
clear
it.
cards where you layer them on top of each other. It's got this kind of sort of morbid theme of people dying.
Okay.
Yeah, you're trying to kill everybody.
Love it.
So
Kill off your family members.
it's a cool idea though.
Mystic Vale really took it to the next level.
Yes, it
and I
did.
don't remember
Yes.
if AG I think did
That
Mystic
was
Vale.
AEG
And
by
I don't
John
know
D.
I don't know if they did Canvas as well. But it's a similar kind of thing.
Sure.
Anyways,
So yeah, it's a nice little short
It is
number
pretty.
8.
it's a good pick.
But man, is that a beautiful game, and I want to play it.
It is a good
Bob,
pick.
please.
Number 7. We are getting into Deluxeified Edition, folks. That's
course.
all we've got from here on out.
All right.
Because I'm sorry, those are the prettiest looking games. My number 7 is my favorite box cover. If you've take a look at my shelves, there's only one game that I display above them.
Is it right behind you?
No,
Nope, I didn't bring it. It's too
Oh.
big to fit.
it's huge. It's massive.
huge.
It would fit in a Calyx if you lay it on its back.
What is it?
But it was published by Breaking Games. It is designed by Luke Laurie, and this is Dwellings of Eldervale.
Yeah.
This game is gorgeous.
It is.
The box is just beautiful. I mean, there's actually even 2 versions of it. I prefer the one with the dragon, not the one that has the kind of alligator looking one, because it's a little bit more gray toned, and the original one is more colorful. But the table presence is amazing.
Yeah.
Like the tiles look pretty good and they are colorful, but I really like that track. The tracks are all a very different, vibrant color. Not to mention that it comes with game trays. All of your player pieces come in a game tray. You pop the lid off that's got your faction abilities
They do
on
such
it.
fantastic work,
Everything
man.
is
It's
just
unbelievable.
fits perfectly right into the game tray. Everything you need to start the game is right in there. You just pull your workers out and you're ready to go.
And I love how your player, like your faction tile, is two-sided, so you can play as
Yes.
one version or the other.
There are 8 different colors in this game that symbolizes the 8 different types of available resources in the game, or the different types of factions, and they're double-sided. So
Yeah.
there's 16 different variable player powers to use in this game. Not to mention it comes with washed minis. I have the legendary edition. It comes with washed minis. I know the complaint that you put them on the board and then you kill it and it's gone. Like it may only be in the game for 5 minutes. Don't care. They look
No.
great.
Complaining about that.
Yeah.
One of our Discord champions does when we bring it up. Sorry, Mango Militia.
Ooh. I know what you're talking
Put
about.
that on your desk if you want to see it more in 5 minutes.
But not to mention the sound bases.
Oh, I thought you weren't going to mention it.
The sound bases.
The sound bases are fun.
They're cool. They're unnecessary, but literally they have 2 different options. When you move the miniature, it goes roar. Or you can switch it to the other side and it'll go or whatever.
That roar reminded me of the dinosaur in Toy Story. Where
Oh.
like it looked like you were trying to intimidate me and I didn't really react.
It didn't work.
Oh, the
Yeah.
second roar I thought
Yeah,
would do that.
yeah.
That was very puny. So my number 7 is Dwellings of Eldervale, a great, colorful game with awesome table presence and my favorite box.
So my number 7 is a deluxe edition. I know.
You guys are folding.
This was one of my favorite.
denying it.
This was one of my favorite games of last year, next to Ankh. If Ankh hadn't come out in the same year, this would have been my favorite game of last year. Designed by friend of the show, not really, Jay Cormier.
Oh, yes.
Mind Management. Mind
Mind
Management
Management.
is a hidden movement 1v many game. The hidden player is going around trying. He's got locations that he is trying to go to and recruit people. But the thing is that he has to, or she has to. It's like a snake, right? You can't double back. You can't cross over your path. So you've got to be very judicious in like how you're doing. You're moving. The other players are controlling up to 4 different agents that are trying to catch you and stop you and, eliminate, basically, they can guess where you're trying to recruit. They can eliminate those from you. So you recruit at those spots. The board is filled not only with Easter eggs, right? Little icons and everything. And it's this really crazy looking map, but there are Easter eggs printed in the game tray
Huh.
where if you find, or in the rule book,
You were mentioning this. It's so cool.
or in the player screen. And if you find these things and you go to the website, you can print out extra cards and
cool.
rules
That's sweet.
and everything.
Very cool.
The other thing that this game does is that when it opens up, you've got like your one half of it is all your player components, great insert, everything fits in there. The other half of this box is the shift system. So let's just say like Sniper Elite, a game I don't love, right? Bob always wants to be the sniper.
Also a hidden movement game.
Bob wins is won every time we played, except for when Andrew declared victory
Yes.
when we played. So there was like 3 times in one game that he lost
Pseudo win.
because Andrew was like, "There's no way we just won the game."
Declare victory against Bob.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay.
that's how you do it.
That's how you win.
That's the number one game mechanic, like anything. Just declare victory.
Declare victory.
Anyways, but in the shift system, right? Like let's just say we're playing this game and over and over, and he keeps winning. Well, every time one side wins, you open up this shift system box
cool.
for the other team. Now you've got a new rule and a new ability.
That's sweet.
So like now you might be putting down like these tripwires, which now like, so when that player crosses over, that they did this, but it goes back and forth, right? So it keeps the balance as you go through. I freaking love that idea. The box art is amazing. And it's got like this awesome stuff where if you shift it in the light, you can see some, some glossy things over it. There's little messages written on the sides of the box and inside the box. It is insane. I freaking loved it. Even if I didn't love the game as much as I do, the box art and like the way that you can find all these hidden things inside the game was worth it. I spent an afternoon just going through stuff and being taunted by the creators because I was like, oh, I found something here. And they're like, oh yeah, keep looking.
Yeah, everybody found that.
And I'm like, dang it. And so I'm like looking some more. Just a great experience, not only playing the game, but just enjoying my game, like on the side, just like, oh yeah, this looks really awesome. But yeah, so my number 7, Mind Management. It wasn't on my underrated games because it's so new.
Came out last year.
Yeah.
But it's still underrated.
It is still underrated. It's rated
Way
1,029.
Yeah, Criminal. Very good game.
Yeah, super fun. I love it.
So my number 7 is the game I've played the most. The game I've played the most.
Euchre?
Shut up.
Candyland.
Candyland. Shut up.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh my gosh. We should like link to the video.
Right?
So
Ding.
at my game club at school that I used to run, we would play this game every single week. It never got old.
It never laid an egg?
It never laid an egg.
Is it that game?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, keep going. Then.
So it's a social deduction game.
Nope, not the one I thought.
Nope, no eggs here. The components inside are beautiful. You get these 2 beautiful wooden placards.
I know what
these
this is
really
now.
high quality. I wouldn't even call them cards, but cards. Little thick cardboard cards, and that is Secret
Hitler. So good.
Fantastic
Great game.
board.
Now you need the
presence for,
deluxe version that's got the wooden box.
I'm going standard.
I got
I'm
the
going
deluxe.
What is it, like 30 or 40 bucks, and you get these beautiful wooden placards. You get that. I mean, the
Yeah,
board
the
and
chancellor
the rules.
and the-
Bob would
yeah.
hate
President.
that rule book. It is so.
Oh, it's
wide.
so oblong.
Yeah.
He owns it. I've been trying to buy it from him because he has the suitcase.
Yeah, it's one of the few social deduction games I can tolerate, and I would bring to
Sad.
any gathering that can handle the
It's
use
really
of
good.
the word Hitler.
That should have been on my honorable mention. That is a really well made game.
Yes.
Ironically, I believe made by the Cards Against Humanity people.
Really?
Yeah.
So they could make a good game. Number I
really don't know.
I think it is.
Secret Hitler. Number 7.
Number 7. All right, number 6. Mikey, what you got for us? Hot Mike. It's about to be your birthday.
That's true. My birthday is tomorrow. I'm old.
As of the recording of
That's subjective. I know. Okay, so I actually bought the retail edition, and I am just in love with this game. And then I finally played the deluxe edition, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Wonderland's War.
Oh,
I
yeah.
absolutely love this game. This has become my favorite
Just
bag
pull it
building
out.
game.
Just whip her out.
I mean, that
And the box art's
box
pretty
is
good.
awesome.
Yep.
It's pretty good.
All of the art is great.
Very
It's got
good
this
game.
very kind of whimsical, sort of odd, but kind of dark sort of art that I just really, really enjoy. I think it captures the Wonderland theme very, very well. So art alone and the box, not the box, the board. The board has this cool like pink sort of purple hues on it that I just find really nice to look at. But I took my retail edition because I just wanted to play it. I had to play it. Hopefully we'll have a review soon. Stay tuned. And then I put corn capsules on all of my cardboard chips because that's that is half the fun of a bag building game to me. It's just
click,
reaching
click,
my
click, click, click.
hand in there and just
You get so many chips in that game.
you
too.
do. You were just
So
playing with
many.
a big old wad of chips.
Yeah.
So I remember Bob bought the deluxe, and I thought the standees
gorgeous.
I had with my retail were fine, and I thought my coin capsules were fine. And then I saw the deluxe, and I'm looking at the miniatures, and I'm like, oh my gosh, these are pretty cool. Okay, yeah, those are
that's how they
cooler than
get you.
standees.
You're sweating.
Especially the caterpillar miniature. That one is just so cool. But then I saw the clay chips, and I'm like, well, those are actually smaller than my plastic coin capsules. But then I started playing with them, and they're
They feel
heavy.
good.
They just feel so
When they got a
good.
heft to them,
Well,
yeah.
and that tiny little box that you open up and all of those
Yeah,
chips
it's
are
a
there.
magnetic box just for the chips, so you don't have to set all that up. You just flip it open and ta-da, you're done setting that part up. Man, it's a really good game. I love the art. I love the deluxeified components. The retail's gorgeous too.
It's a fantastic game.
They are actually reprinting it next month. I think it's going to be October 8th. I'm probably going to have to get second edition. I really
Or
am.
it'll
They
be
are
in store.
reprinting it.
I guess what I'm asking is, in October, will it be on shelves?
No.
second edition,
It's
or-
going to Kickstarter first.
Okay.
It's
okay.
all it was already hit Kickstarter. This is second edition. Like I believe they already ran through their print run and have to reprint the game.
Yeah, so they're doing another Kickstarter. Instead of just printing it, they're going to do a Kickstarter.
Right. They're adding an expansion and they're changing up a couple of the player boards.
Okay.
Now, I will say that Skybound is Skybound Druid City Games. They're one of the game companies. I'll tell you this because I learned this. Because I watch games and I watch game prices, like, I'm going to wait till it comes down, and not buy it at MSRP. They are really big on map. Is it map pricing? Where minimum allowed. So you're not going to be able to go online and find one of their games $20 cheaper than normal. Like usually when it pops out at retail, that is the minimum allowed price for sale. So just keep that in mind. If you are like somebody that's like a bargain hunter, honestly, the Kickstarter is probably going to be your best bet.
Okay.
I've not played Wonderlands War, but I've just, as somebody who follows and I'll keep a game on my radar for years sometimes and wait for it to drop down. Like, oh, super cheap.
Same.
I'm scooping it up.
They will not budge.
But they will not budge. I saw Grim Forest. Grim Forest one time. They dropped it, and that was even the creator was on like Facebook saying, "Hey, this is like the one time we're letting this happen." And I think it was only like $10 cheaper, which is, for a really well-made game and everything. But just some companies do that. I don't blame them, right? They're a business. They need to make money.
Yeah, all of the Druid City games do. They have really nice art.
They're all really well produced, whether or not I love them or not.
And this one designed by Tim Eisner, Ben Eisner, and Ian Moss.
Now, did the Eisners do Tidal Blades as well?
I believe so.
So
I see a Manny Tremblay on there as well. Can't leave that person out.
Yeah.
Just
I believe he's a artist.
So my number 6 is the game I've played least on this list. I am dying to play it more. I just need friends to play it with me. It is by Ludus Magnus Studios. This is Black Rose Wars. This game is, you are all these mages. You show up to basically this house or mansion, and there's all these rooms, and these rooms are dual layer player boards where you can, because as you're casting spells in there, you are damaging the rooms. And so the rooms have effects that can trigger, but then after they take so much damage, you flip it over, and now it's just like a busted up version of the room, and it doesn't give you abilities. Here's the other thing: is you start with like a school of magic that you're good at, but then you are going to have the opportunity to build your spell deck, and by drawing cards from other types of magic. And there's like 10, there's so many different like schools of magic. Like you could mess with time, and things like that. You can summon minions and send them after the other mages while you're trying to accomplish your own goals. Anyways, the miniatures are great. The components are all amazing. The cards are really well made. It's super cool. Lots of fun.
It looks great.
Skirmish style game. Super fun, but you just got to have the right kind of people to play it with. So I'm dying to play Black Rose Wars more.
You just need friends.
I just need friends.
Yes.
And they are what's hard to come by.
Not coming in there.
Money can buy board games. You got to buy the good ones, and then people want to come.
I'll show up if you start setting it up.
Yeah, fair enough.
Or buy
Acquire
me
friends.
a game.
Fair enough. But yeah, Black Rose Wars is my number 6.
Okay, I tried off this this simple one. It's a rebranding of a game.
Euchre. Oh,
Wizard. Yeah. It is a rebranding of a game. They kind of freshened up the flavor of it, the thematics of it a little bit. But this game is beautiful. I played it at Gen Con while you guys were off doing whatever. I went into that
Being
big
cool.
board game room in the other hotel.
Oh yeah.
Where you could just like put a little cone on the table and you could
players wanted, right?
You
Kind of
players
thing.
wanted, and
We were playing Carnivalesca. Or you weren't playing Carnivalesca with us, were you?
I did not get
no,
to play
you guys
that.
were getting lunch. That's why we split. I think whatever. But I was shown the Gollum edition of Century.
Oh,
And
it's so
man,
good.
that is a beautiful game. It's
It
just a
is.
simple set collector, but you're collecting these different colored gems. And this is by no means a flashy game. It is by no means.
It is
something-
beautiful out of the box, though.
You open it up, and people want to know what those nasty little gems.
You got
are.
those gems, you got some
You got
coins.
the gems and the coins. Everything looks clean. Everything is sharp. It is a beautiful game. It's similar to Splendor, and actually, it's
Very
very similar to
Mm-hmm.
Splendor. But it's just the standard edition. You open it up, you've got those. You got, like we said, the coins and the gems, and it looks beautiful. And
the
it's-
artwork is fantastic.
Yes,
I'm
and the
sure.
artwork as
I'm
well.
sure, like the regular edition is fine, but I will only want the Gollum like edition. It's so good.
Yeah.
While I don't have Spice Road, I have Century Eastern Wonders, but
Okay.
all of them have a Gollum edition, and
Mm-hmm.
all of them have like those kind of acrylic sort of,
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of gem looking pieces that are really cool.
Yeah.
I really like the card reset mechanic in that. It is what Concordia uses. And
Yes.
it's just like I'm gonna time when I use this,
Yeah.
my reset
Pick
my
all
cards.
these back up.
Yeah, I love that mechanic in any game.
Yeah. I had a great time playing it. It's stuck in my head as a beautiful game. Especially for a game that's like a one-off. I've played so many games just one time. I'm trying to like
Oh, sure.
go through my memory banks and like, oh man, I remember that
Yeah,
game
this-
for
this
its quality,
stuck out to me,
production
right?
value, and cheap too.
Yeah, super cheap.
Yeah, super
really
cheap.
great
so
value.
dollar for dollar, similar to like Secret Hitler and
Splendor or Dice Forge.
Just the quality is right there
Mm-hmm.
for the price.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now we're on to our top,
Top
five.
5.
This is the first
These are the hard hitters.
big game that I backed on Kickstarter. And I saw the art and I got an idea of what kind of game it would be, and I knew I had to back the deluxe edition of Scythe.
Yes.
I absolutely love the game of Scythe, and I love the art. It's kind of like that kind of impressionist style where it's not incredibly detailed. It's the impression of an
Well,
image.
the art actually inspired the game.
Right.
Yes.
That was
That's how good the art is.
The world was built on art, and then Jamie from Stonemaier Games, of course, said, "Let me make a game out of this." And he's
Yeah.
like, "What if we had a game where workers are going around collecting resources, but there's also these mechs going around, moving
Yeah.
them around that are creating this tension that they could go battle each other."
And those event cards where you can interpret a photo 3 different ways.
Oh, yeah.
So cool.
Like what you do.
yeah, the
Yeah.
encounter deck.
Encounter
Yeah.
deck.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
Which
so
probably, if not the other characters, probably the best expansion for. I wouldn't
The
really consider
encounters?
it an expansion, but like
It's
it's
a
kind of
mini
like the
expansion.
prelude. Yeah, it's like the prelude for Terraforming Mars. Like it's something you should have
Just-
for the
just
game.
have
just
it
as
in
a
there.
But it's not just the art, though. I mean, the mechs are pretty cool, but there's metal mechs now.
Oh my
so
gosh.
you can get those.
I legit looked at those, and I get why they are as expensive as they are.
oh
and
yeah,
did not.
$25 for just 4, right?
Yeah.
No, I think it's each.
$25
I don't
for one
know
mech.
about that.
I don't think it's 25 bucks
a
for
set of
4. No, I don't think so.
I can't
Oh
remember.
wait, maybe it is for 4.
For
but
one-
to-
for one
but,
player's
But for one
max,
player is
you
25
get
bucks.
4 max
I
for
believe you might be
$25,
right there. Yeah. I was thinking like, why did I think it was like hundreds of dollars? But it's to get all
'Cause
of
if
the
you want-
players'
yeah. Yep.
factions represented.
But yeah, it's not just the minis. It's not just the art. It has realistic resources. It's the first game I ever saw
Oh, yeah.
with realistic resources.
Stonemaier,
Yeah.
And
baby.
by the way, why has nobody borrowed the mechanic where when you gain resources, you put them on the board, you leave them there, and if somebody else beats you in battle, they take your resources?
People are too
That is
scared.
just the greatest, one of the greatest
It's so
combat mechanics I've ever
so
seen
good.
in a game. This game also has, say it with me now, dual layered player boards. You're
It
welcome,
might,
Bob.
It might be one of the first ones
I was actually going to say, I'm driving over here and I'm like, I think that was the first game with dual layer player boards, and it's phenomenal. It works so well. I don't know if you knew this. I know Tim doesn't love the board. I think it looks great.
I like the Easter eggs on the board.
Gosh dang it.
Hi.
Did I write that down? He's looking at my list
Yes.
again. The Easter eggs are really cool. There's Santa Claus on there.
Really?
Thor's on there.
Never
Holding
took
Mjolnir.
the time to look.
Little Red Riding Hood. There's a
Huh.
lot of little Easter
gonna go
eggs
home
on the
and
board.
crack
Yeah,
open my
open that box up. Check that
they've
board
all
out.
been discovered, but it's such
Speaking
a
of
good game.
Being discovered though, my one gripe with Scythe is
Hold on, I gotta leave.
people who get out of here is the fact that people have kind of figured out the game to win in like 13 moves as specific.
That is why
Yeah, there's a ban list.
only
right?
play with the modular boards.
Of course, of course.
Because that way every game changes and somebody can't math it out like months before they play the
Yes.
game.
Right.
Yes.
But yeah, there are some combos that are stronger with
Modular
others.
board is absolutely necessary.
It is.
I would say, besides that, that little pack of cards we were talking about earlier.
Oh,
for the
sure.
encounters,
Yeah, the extra
you
encounters.
Need the
Yeah.
modular board. If you want to play Scythe, kind of like vanilla Scythe, you need the modular board. Which
Yeah,
sounds weird because I'm saying vanilla Scythe, but like having a modular board.
It makes a big
it
difference
makes
for
a
that game.
huge
It really
difference.
does.
Yeah.
Awesome game, awesome components.
Yep.
Side.
Yeah, I think I cooled on Scythe a bit after getting just completely destroyed by people that like solved it, to an extent.
I haven't had that happen, so maybe I need to.
Maybe I'm just too good at Scythe, I guess.
No, not me. No, I'm not. I'm not. I will
Just
never
messing
claim
with
to be an expert at any game except Splendor.
except
Actually,
Splendor.
I will wreck you in Splendor.
Splendor Monster. My number 5 is a game that I talk about all the time on this show, but it's because it's a great game that nobody knows about. It is Court of the Dead, Mourner's Call.
I knew that was coming.
Oh my gosh!
Never heard of it.
It's got fantastic miniatures. The board itself is freaking beautiful. Just retail edition. It's got that shiny sort of layer. So like there's like a waterfall in the middle of the board. So like if you look at it and you can see it's like reflective where other parts of the board are not. It's got these great tracks on the bottom so that as you recruit people to your side, or no, you're playing your things there. So you have control with those factions. The artwork is just amazing. The board looks great. The layout of the board is great. The miniatures are great. I don't know. It's just a fantastic game.
It does look great.
Man, it's really good. And it's super fun also just to boot. But the components are fantastic. And this was a good excuse to talk about it. It's my number 5.
You've taken a lot of excuses, but we'll allow it.
I'm filled with excuses. This game came out the year that I think Andrew was born. It didn't come out the year he was born. It's rated the year I think Andrew was born, 1998.
Wow.
Are you a baby?
You just called me a 23-year-old?
Yeah, you're a baby.
I'm
Compared to
31. I was born 1990.
Compared to me, you're.
Yeah, we knew that.
Don't let the hairline fool you. Young at heart.
Isn't
There
that
was
wearing
no
a hat?
line. There was no line.
Yeah.
Your line is the collar on your shirt where your back hair starts. Number.
I love it. Give me some. Love it.
That was more of a hand touch.
It was.
The
Wow,
mic.
weak
There we go.
sauce.
That was good.
All
Right
right.
on, man. Yeah.
Yes.
So number 5, Court of the Dead, Mourner's Call. So good. Don't look at the other Court of the Dead game because it's not. It's a trick.
dead.
It's a trick taking game, and the art looks subpar. Blah blah blah. Please
Jury's
continue.
still out in that court.
So my number
Not even out. It's never even convened.
5. My number 5 is a game that I had the honor and privilege to kind of work for. This is a game by DV Games, and I
should be
spent
on the
all
list.
of Gen Con selling this game to people. I actually worked for their booth. This is Wonderbook.
Yeah.
Wonderbook is a beautiful game.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil too much, but it's a pop-up adventure book or adventure game, and the whole thing revolves around a book that you open up, and this huge tree comes popping
Like
up in
folds
front
out,
of you. It's
yeah.
like a foot high, and you can interact with that map, and it's a light adventure co-op.
Family
kinda,
weight.
Very family weight. Nothing
Yeah.
crazy. You're rolling dice for combat, and it's just 50-50 hit or miss.
And you can mitigate some of that, but yes,
yeah.
it is.
It's super simple, but that doesn't detract from the fact that it's a beautiful game. You've got your generic fantasy roles. You've got kind of your tank, your ranged, your melee. But man, is that presentation beautiful. DV Games always does that, whether it's Bang or their detective games. But this game, it's kind of their poster boy.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just,
it's a big deal. Like the production.
I gotta
value of
say,
that
just
thing.
wandering around Gen Con and like looking at the different booths and the stuff they have on display or
Yeah.
the banners they have behind their booth, the Wonderbook booth was one of the prettiest displays I
yes.
saw at Gen Con. Like,
and
it's
I
just
think it also had the
gorgeous.
best demo team
and attractive.
Out of
Very
the
attractive.
most attractive.
Yes.
Also
Tallest.
very full of it.
Yeah.
The best hairline.
Best hairlines. Well,
Yeah,
look,
so-
I mean, Andrew makes up for a lot of that.
Yeah.
Like what I'm
our,
not bringing.
our
to-
average hairline.
I did not demo it.
Yeah.
They were like-
So
So yeah, Wonderbook
No,
is
it
my
looks
number
great.
5 because it is just a beautiful presentation.
the miniatures are really good for
The
that game
miniatures
too.
are good. I'm kind of bummed that there's only one type of monster
Yeah,
miniature.
yeah.
But that is not the only monster that you're fighting. I don't want to spoil too much because it's a story driven kind of campaign.
Right.
But not only that, like the dice. are
Yeah, the dice are
gorgeous.
nice, yeah.
Even if you don't get the special, the
purple.
deluxe dice, which are the same color as your shirt, Mike. But everything
I want
out
them.
of the box, I think it's all game trays. The
Yeah,
cards
or
are really nice. The
it's-
characters are
yeah, something.
really good. Even the little dazed.
Oh, I love
there's
that.
There's this little piece of cardboard that when you hit a monster, these little stars, kind of
Uh-huh.
like you get hit. You put it on the character's head so it makes it look like they're dazed.
Every time while teaching that game, I would be like, "Oh, and if you hit this guy, you could knock him over, or you could put one of these little days." And everybody would go,
he's dazed.
"Oh, like
That's funny.
everybody like got a kick out of that. Even like the hardest hearted,
Extreme
gamer
RPG gamer.
that's like looking at it was like,
Yeah.
like even that would
I'll
react
approve.
to the
I'll approve.
to the days thing. Where they're
So-
clearly just standing there because they're waiting for somebody and they have no interest in this game.
So Wonderbook is my number 5.
That is a
Very
worthy-
well
A worthy
maintained.
number
Gorgeous.
5.
Yes.
we are on to
Number
number
4.
This game came out this year, and we do have a review of it. It was published by Renegade, designed by T.C. Petty III, and this is My Father's Work.
Oh.
Man, this game
I wasn't
has
there that week. You guys played.
some of the
I'm
greatest
bummed.
components of any game I have ever seen. It has wooden animal tokens. It's got Metal Gear tokens. It's got these glass jar token. No, they're not tokens. They're glass jars.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Sweet.
that's the
With little
component.
corks in the
And
top.
they're not small. They're like 2 inches tall.
really?
That's and it comes in a game tray. I don't know if it's technically Game Tray's product, but they come in
Yeah.
perfectly form-fit trays for all the resources. Several layers of trays. It's organized extremely well in the box. I like these kind of dark sort of art themes, and it's definitely one of those. The other thing I really like about this game, it does have miniatures. They're nothing fantastic. It has miniatures.
They're good.
It's a worker placement game with story, and it's app driven. And so, like as you're reading the app, it kind of changes. The game evolves as you play it. And to me, the coolest thing that I like about this game is how it has a binder that's all of the different worker placement locations. It starts with this town. It has maybe say 8 locations. Well, something happens in the story. Then you flip the binder. Well, now there's a church. And you vote on this. And hey, we decided to build this inside of the town.
Or this burnt down. or
Yeah, this burnt
something.
down,
Cool.
and then now you can't use that anymore. And just this ever-evolving binder of worker placement locations is one of the coolest components I think I've ever seen in a game. That concept is awesome. I think more games might even pick up on that.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was a very ingenious, well done, beautiful worker placement game.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. Renegade Games. My number 4, speaking of like trays that just fit in perfectly, this was the first game that had an insert that blew my mind. This probably at the time of when I purchased it, I was so hyped for this game that they were doing online sales only, and there was only a certain amount of copies they were selling in the first print run. And this was like a refresh website, refresh,
Yeah.
get in, place my order. Card didn't go through. Crap, got to get back in. Oh, I'm in. Boom, boom, boom.
Is it the
Get through.
PlayStation 5?
It felt like it.
Oh, wow.
Felt like
It does
it.
have a good insert.
What did it come out? This game came out in like 2014, 2015, blew me away. And I was a big fan of like Cthulhu Wars. I had my Cthulhu Wars at the time, was probably the best produced game I had at that time. Mechs vs. Minions.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. Pre-painted minis. The tiles are nice, thick, really lots of detail.
Riot Games, dude.
All of the
Everything
different
that they're
shapes
making.
of the minions. So there's all different kinds of minions. They all function the same way. There's hidden things inside the box, do not open. There's envelopes
Yeah.
with your scenarios and things like that. The way your characters play, the artwork on all the cards, it is just stellar. It is such a well overproduced game for the
Yeah.
price point.
Yeah, what is it, like $70?
$80.
Yeah.
It was $80, and that might have been shipped. I don't
They've got
remember.
to be making no money. I mean, they make all their money from skins at League of Legends, but like,
Yeah,
they've got to
yeah.
be making no money on
Well,
it.
they made a game because they like board games, and I'd never even heard of League of Legends. And
Really?
but this game came on my radar because I just listened to podcasts and and stuff, and I was like,
Yeah.
Mechs vs Minions. I'm like, well, what's this? And I started looking at all the stuff that comes with it. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? And like the golden, like the brass gears and stuff. Have you played Mechs vs Minions?
I have not, and I was just hoping somebody would put it on their list.
Oh,
Yeah.
we'll play it. We'll remedy that.
I would
That
love
game's
to.
fantastic. It's super good.
Include
It's the
me,
first
please.
program movement game I've ever played.
I actually, before we did the list, I even told Tim, I'm like, I haven't played this game, so I don't want to put it on my list, but somebody has
And I
to.
told you, I believe I said I got you covered.
Okay.
It's sitting
yeah.
eye level with me
Yeah.
in Bob's house.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I never want to ask, but it's there.
Oh, it's so good.
so-
It's so good. Mechs
Yeah.
vs Minions. It's one of my favorite co-ops. It's really good.
So we've been speaking about trays.
Uh-huh.
This game has trays in it, has a lot of trays, and actually the gameplay revolves around trays.
a tray that revolves.
A revolving tray. And this is
I don't know why I'm stumped.
Adam's Apple Games.
This is an Adam's Apple Games.
Come on,
Adam's Apple Games game.
Thank you.
And this is Planet Unknown.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is my one deluxe edition because it's the only edition.
Yeah,
right
you can't
now.
hold it over our heads.
So I can no longer for my number 4, I will not hold it over your heads. But for my remainders, everything else is just retail.
And it's because of the Lazy Susan, right?
The Lazy Susan is one of the components that I think is fantastic. Adam's Apple Games prides themselves on unique components to make their games fun, and I think that's really cool. But also, you guys were talking about those dual layer boards for Scythe.
Yeah.
Planet Unknown has a triple layer board because you can flip over your like Confederation
Track
or
board.
your track board or whatever that is. I don't know what it's called exactly, but it's just adds to the asymmetry. You can do the stock planet or the stock corporation, or you can flip it over and you've got the asymmetric corporation. Beautiful game. All of the planets are gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh my word. I'm a little worried about the box because it doesn't close fully. And if you have somebody set it on its side, then all of those polyominoes fall out. Do not set this game on its side. But you also can't set the game on the bottom of any games because the box doesn't fully close. But man, is this game gorgeous. And the Lazy Susan. I've seen some people on Board Game Geek spray paint it black. And then they add some like purple and like almost like cosmic
Glitter.
Right, yeah.
cosmic powder or something like that. Really
Rhinestones.
adds to the flavor. Rhinestone, yeah. So yeah, my number 4 is Planet Unknown. Also, my only 10 on Board Game Geek.
Oh,
My
I
only
was-
Didn't the
10.
Colts owner have some problems with the cosmic powder?
As they're probably losing as we speak.
They won.
Holy crap.
They beat the Chiefs.
Yep.
Wow. We're from Indiana.
Sports update.
Awesome. Go Colts.
Great. Yep.
Amazing. I knew it. Okay, so I was going to put I considered Planet Unknown. I put it in my honorable mentions.
Yep.
The Lazy Susan is again just like Zulkin, it's a component that is also a mechanism.
Yeah.
Because you rotate it and then hey, this is where I'm picking from and I got 2 options in this area that's directly in front of me and I think that makes the game. I heard that they were going to add that to the retail edition.
Every edition is going to have
Right.
the Susan in her fullness.
So, but probably not the triple layer track board, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But I don't know. When you got that many
I feel like
tracks,
you need it because those things move. They're moving a lot.
either way, it's an awesome game.
Yeah.
Number 3. This is designed by Emerson Matsuchi and Arcane Wonders. This is Foundations of Rome.
Yeah.
This game is absolutely stunning.
True.
It's fun and stunning to look at on the table.
Not fun.
All of the buildings are huge. If you get them washed, they are incredibly detailed. They are actual buildings that are in Rome.
And it only costs as much as it does to fly to Rome.
Ignoring Tim. Next point. Next point.
It's true. It's how much is that game?
You got to pay for that deluxe.
You do.
I'd play a cardboard version. Just saying, give me a $50 version of Foundations of Rome. I'd hammer that game out. Oh my gosh.
I would probably enjoy that more.
So, I mean, it also has a dual layer scoring track. I mean, really? Like, wow. I don't know another game that does that.
Yeah, I mean,
It's got metal coins. Just fantastic. Just a fantastic table presence. I mean, I just can't talk enough. Plus, every player's stuff comes in these game trays with a form-fit cover over
really
them.
nice.
The box is great. Everything fits in there perfect. You just slide your tray out, open it, bam, my player setup is done.
Yeah.
Just a fantastic, wonderfully published, developed game. I can't say enough about the components for Foundations of Rome.
The components are very, very good.
They are.
Both
Both of these guys don't like it, apparently.
I can't believe- I thought I was the only person in the whole
morning, and he was crushing me.
Oh,
so
yeah,
maybe I'm just salty about that.
Let me just tell you, Bob is not the first
Somebody
person
help
to
me out.
play this game with you. Like, just do not do that because it will
Somebody help me
ruin.
defend.
Did you just say Bob is not the first person?
He
to
should
play?
not be the first
He
person.
should not have.
Yeah,
been.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No,
I
Bob should
almost
know
do.
better at this point.
Sure.
Because he has ruined many people's experiences
Just
with this
by-
game.
They're going to crap
Crushing,
on
yeah.
Foundations of Rome.
Yeah. Well, I don't like it anyways. It's overrated.
I'm not saying it's a bad
I can't
game.
make
I
eye
got
contact
crushed
with
by
Tim
it
for the
this
rest of the
morning.
video.
But
It's
beautiful.
really well produced. It
Yes.
is one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen, but I just
He
do
hates
not
it.
like it. But I'll play it.
Easy to play.
I'm
too.
offended.
Easy to play.
Because it'll be done in 40,
I enjoy it.
30 to 45
So much.
minutes. I'll play it, even with people with analysis paralysis.
Can't make eye contact with him.
That's fine.
It's another video. I opened up the Tim hate
Started well.
wagon. Somebody drink all the haterade.
All right. Well, I'm going to go into my number 3 then.
Go ahead.
You knew it was going to happen. Don't act surprised. You knew it was going to happen.
Yes,
It was
I
just
did.
what number was it going to happen?
Yeah, exactly. Somebody was going to have Foundations of Rome on their thing,
It
and they
deserves
should.
its spot.
It does deserve
on a
its spot.
components list.
I'm not arguing
On a
that.
deluxe
all.
components list.
This is my only Awaken Realms game on the list.
Oh.
And it is not even necessarily my favorite Awaken Realms game, but I think it has the best components, and that is Tainted Grail. Tainted Grail has fantastic artwork. The cards make up your board as you're exploring. These tarot-sized cards come out, and there's great miniatures. Were they menhirs? I don't know. I said the same word twice. But they're like these these big statue things, and they
Menhirs?
light up
Menhirs?
Yes, that's it. Just but one time. But they light up the area around you, so you can only see so far, and then
Okay.
you also have to do things to sort of keep them active because they are dimming, and that's part of the problem with the world. And one of the coolest things about this game is you open it up and you pick your character. You get this whole story. Like, let's just say you were like the blacksmith's assistant is the character you're going to be, and you read this whole thing about there was this call for the great heroes of the land to go and rally and go. And because there's a sickness and a darkness creeping in, and so they're all setting out to go and figure out what this is. You are not one of them, and they did not come back. So now you have to go.
Whoa.
And it's very grim. It's very dark. The artwork, the way you play your cards, like in combat, you're stacking your cards and you're lining up the icons, and so you can build these big chains depending on how your icons line up. And the artwork all makes sense as they go together. It's really just really cool, and it's really well made. The miniatures are great. The story aspect of it feels very immersive. It's sort of like a very dark, twisted Arthurian legend kind of thing. And I grew up loving King Arthur and all that stuff. And so, anyways, it's just a really well made, depressing, grim experience. But Tainted Grail
Kind
is
of like Tim crapping on Foundations of Rome.
Yeah, not nearly
Every
as
time we talk
entertaining as
about
my
it.
hatred of Foundations of Rome. But
I want to play it.
But yeah, Tainted Grail is very cool, and very well made. And again, Awakened Realms makes a ton of great games. I'm not going to say anything else other than that because they might show up on another list. I'd be surprised if they didn't.
If Awakened Realms didn't have more than one game on a components list, I would be shocked. Anybody's list.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, Andrew, your number 3, please.
My number 3 is a game you guys haven't played, and it like bothers me to my core that you've. I think Tim, I can honestly say I've smiled and agreed through every game that you've listed because I've never played. I think most of your games.
Sure.
But this game, it shocks me that you guys have not played this, but you will in the next month because the Kickstarter is finally completed.
Oh, I know what it is.
It's shipping. It is in, well, at least Texans have received their copies, and my copy is currently.
So this isn't the only game with tree. This will be your third game with the tree presence on the board.
There is so much tree in my top 10. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, there
It
is.
is Everdell.
Yes.
Just the base Everdell, no fancy addition. You open it up, you get that beautiful tree. The tree is used, kind of. You don't need to use it, but you can use it. There's so much. You tuck the cards. You can put the objective goals on the top of the tree. You put your little dudes on the top tier of the tree. The berries are this squishy little rubber that you can let us all.
Like Tidal Blades has squishy.
Yeah.
The deluxe edition of Tidal
They're
Blades.
not really squishy, but they're bouncy. And there's like little ember pieces that kind of look like the Century Golem edition.
Oh,
it's
right.
just like a little mini. Everything about this game, component-wise, is beautiful just in the base game alone. But I am looking forward to my complete edition, which will be unboxed and will be played.
Yeah,
That
I'm
is
looking
not
forward
a
to that.
suggestion. That would be a requirement.
I am
for this
looking.
channel.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I really am.
So my number 3 is Everdell. Mike, have you played Everdell?
I have not.
I think you want to use that tree to block eye contact when you talk about Foundations of
I
Rome.
think this
The tree is
edition has
solid
a wooden tree.
I'll
Holy
play as
smokes.
long as
So-
Tim's not there crapping on Foundations of Rome.
Yeah, they're to play a completely different game to still complaining about.
It'll be
Actually, 4. I'm calling Secret Hitler
What?
a tree game because the placards are made of wood as well.
Oh, I see.
Reach.
I've got
So is cardboard.
All the cardboard, yeah, never mind.
Reach.
Okay,
All right.
yeah, number 3, Everdell.
Which means we're on to
Number 2.
Runner up to first place. What is it, Mike?
Designed by Adam Kwapinski.
Oh,
And the other Awakened Realms game on this list,
Don't
that
be
is
Nemesis, don't be
Lords
Nemesis.
of Hellas.
yes.
This game is absolutely epic. The first time I played Lords of Hellas, I've mentioned this on a few videos, don't care. It was the first time I ever went over to Spencer's house to play board games.
It's the first game we played together, right?
It was the first time we played a game together, and I requested this because the Lords of Ragnarok was live on Kickstarter, and I'm like, okay, this is like a Viking sci-fi theme was Ragnarok, but Lords of Hellas is like a Greek mythology sci-fi theme. I'm like, what? This game is on my list because it has the greatest minis I have ever seen in my entire
They're pretty great.
life.
I love the monuments, dude.
The Zeus monument with that like electric whip. I mean, are you kidding me with that miniature?
Yeah, it's
They
sick.
are so well done. They are
It's sick.
incredibly detailed. They're huge. Oh my gosh, the miniatures of Lords of Hellas. Once you set that game up and somebody walks by, it's just like, I mean, it'd probably trip over myself just like looking at the game. It just, wow, that table presence in that game.
It's sick. It's really good.
Wow. And it's a fantastic game. I did end up backing it. I cannot wait for Lords of Ragnarok. Those monument miniatures, holy crap. It's like you're building these monuments slowly but surely and plugging away and building this
And
thing
you're
up.
actually like
You're
building
building
them, though.
pieces
Yeah.
of the monument.
Yeah.
So you start with the base, and then you add his legs, and then you add his torso, then you
Shrine
add
of
his
the
arms,
Silver
and then you add that
Monkey.
whip, and it's just like, ta-da! Here's
Yeah.
my donation to society. Is this huge monument I've been
cool.
working on the whole game? It feels epic. It looks epic. Lords of Hellas absolutely has some of the best minis I've ever seen.
my number 2 is technically could be called a tiny epic game made by Gameling Games.
Oh yes, I want to play this so bad.
But it's not tiny, it's just epic. It is Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. This game is, you want table presence. This game might have the greatest table presence of all. You've got,
this.
barely. You've got
Okay.
airships. You've got boats.
Yeah.
You know, you've got all kinds of vehicles that stand up in their cardboard. You know, you have to assemble them. You know,
and you
and
put your dudes in them.
yeah,
move
you
them
put
around.
you put your
Yeah.
dudes in them. You've got all the factions have unique miniatures, right, for their own faction, and there's tons of factions. And then your player board, like the way that you can unlock your abilities and your players, they all do different things, and it's asymmetrical. And the boards can be modular, and then you've got to seed the board with all the tokens and everything that you're using. There's, if you're playing with like the mermaid people, you've got like an underwater level. So you put this blue thing over it. If you're playing as the bird folk, you've got a raised up level. So you have to put
Wow.
this one tile on stands that covers a board. So to get there, you have to fly up there.
That's sweet.
It's so crazy. It's so well made. I love this game. I need to play it more. I know.
Name a
Mike,
time and a place.
I know.
I've been begging him to play.
We need to play this game. We need to play.
It's a
we need-
4X.
We need to play. Yeah,
all right, well,
and
then
it's
I
a
need to
4X.
play this game.
So we're gonna play
I'll
this
take
and
the
Black
birds.
Rose Wars, and like
Yep.
you know, just it's too bad. I don't think you can go to my sister's because that would be like the
Yeah.
perfect time.
Yeah, I have a
to
wedding
just like
this Friday.
knock one of those out.
yeah.
You know, I don't know how many times you're allowed to get married, but. I'm just kidding. Bad joke. But anyways, Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea by Gameling Games. It is their one big game as far
Scott
as I know.
Holmes.
Everything
is.
else is they're all Tiny Epic, and the Tiny Epic games are fine. But I'm never really that interested in them. But man, Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, they just absolutely knocked it out of the park. Fantastic game, great components. Andrew,
As your games get bigger, my number 2 gets very, very small.
ooh,
Um,
euchre, but with
about the
Metal
size,
cards.
about the size of a euchre deck, and about the quality of metal cards.
ooh,
This presentation that my number 2 gives, that on, you can buy the base game, and that's great, or you can buy the deluxe edition, which I did buy, but my number 2 is just the base edition. I sleeve every game. I sleeve every game. These cards for this game are made of a unbreakable, unbendable plastic. These cards do not need to be sleeved. This, all of the chips are high quality. Their deluxe edition is just here. Do you want 2 play mats to go with it?
Oh, sure.
My number 2 is Radlands.
Oh, I haven't played Radlands, yeah.
is gorgeous.
I love the art. I remember when it was on Kickstarter.
Everything from the outside of the box. You open the box. The inside of the box is gorgeous. You got like some crazy chemist. The artwork on the inside is beautiful. If you don't want to carry the deluxe edition, you just take the normal box out of the box, and you've got the game right there. All of the cards are unbreakable plastic or unbendable. They don't get nicked on the side. All of the water tokens are this beautiful acrylic. And it is just sharp. It is clean.
Wow.
It is easy to play. And look, it's not fancy. It doesn't have these crazy miniatures and huge board presence. But man, everything about it is sharp. It's like the Apple product of of board games.
It's very clean in its art style, especially on the box.
Yes,
It reminds me of the Borderlands video games.
it's very Borderlandsy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the presentation is great. I do agree.
Yes, and honestly, the cards sold me. Just everything about it.
I think the only thing that put me off on Radlands was that it was only a 2-player game.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that as a knock. It's just when it was coming out on Kickstarter and it's like, oh, do I want to back? Like initially I'm like, I want that.
Yeah.
I want that so bad. And then I was like, oh, 2 players. And at the time, like there just wasn't like, and it still really don't always get in a lot of 2-player games.
Sure.
But that's not necessarily a knock, right? It's just
I have been on a 2-player kick though recently.
Sure.
I mean, Android Netrunner, Radlands, Evian. I've just been all about like,
yeah.
hey, if you got 8 people and 6 people want to play a game, hey, we could play 3 of these in the time it'll take them to set up, their game.
Wonderland's War.
So that did.
I mean,
take
it's not
while.
a dig, but that does take a while to set up,
It
right?
does.
Yeah.
So my number 2, well deserving.
Yeah.
Badlands.
Nice pick.
That means that we are on to number
Number
one.
one.
The
Let's do it.
greatest components in any game. So, no surprise, I was going to save my Eric Lang game for number one. The question is, which one do I have? Love Ankh, love Blood Rage, love Rising Sun. I chose Rising Sun. And the reason I chose Rising Sun is, well,
think
there's
I
a
know.
lot of
I
reasons.
think
The
I know.
miniatures are amazing. The miniatures are
Yes.
incredibly
they're
detailed.
so good.
I like the little plastic numbered flags on the board. I think that's a cool touch. But I really like those thick, chunky political mandate tiles.
Yes, that's what I was going to
Like when you're discussing the actions and those chunky plastic, oh man, I like those so much. I haven't really seen a whole lot of those games, and they just clacking together, shuffling them. Just it sounds good, it feels good. I like that pastel art style that's on the board. I really appreciate that. If you got the deluxe edition, that's of course where those flags come from.
do.
You got to have the deluxe to get these plastic mandate tiles. So yes, it's the Kickstarter deluxe edition. The castles that you build onto the board are fortresses. Why am I forgetting what those are called? I like how all those are slightly different.
And
I think
then the turtle faction.
yeah, the green ones have like a little turtle with a building on top
And
of
they
it,
can move.
and they move around. So they're the only faction that allow you to do that. Man, yeah, I like the colors style. I like the look of the box, all of the boxes, honestly. I keep the Daimyo box actually displayed in my basement.
Yeah,
so
it looks great.
it really looks fantastic. It's a great game. I could have chosen Ankh because I really like the plastic buildings that are on the
Yes.
that are on the board, but I got a feeling Tim might be at Ankh here. I don't know.
Oh, you don't
They
know.
may not have Ankh as his number one, so just in case, Ankh is also awesome and has excellent miniatures as well. But Rising Sun just rises to the top of this list because of so many different things that are blow me away.
I see what you did there, and I like it. So my number one, I can't believe nobody had this on their list. I'm shocked nobody had
It's not Ankh.
Terraforming Mars. I mean, with the components that like fall apart, like as you take them out of the box, and then like the shoddy artwork. And
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. It is
I
not
was
my
like,
number
I
oh
keep my
my-
copy in a trash bag now, actually.
Yeah.
So.
It was it's,
What's the doing to that trash bag?
it's not
The way
Terraforming
the
Mars.
box kind of warps out,
Right,
Bows in the middle a little bit.
Yeah, no, Terraforming Mars is not on my list. That was total joke. No, my game has already been mentioned. It is my father's work.
Oh,
Renegade
nice.
game.
Yeah.
I mean, the jars, the gears, the animal meeples,
We
which
have it here. I want to like see it. Now.
No.
I
no.
have not seen it.
Bob's got it.
The trays are so good, like inside the way it all lays out. The thing that blew me away is that the miniatures, right? Like, so you've got your main characters would be like your mad scientist, your spouse, and then like your caretaker, right? And then you've got like a servant that you can send out and do city actions. But you can assign that to be whatever you want. And you do that by placing the little ring on the bottom. And so that tells you what kind of worker it is by the style
the
of
ring
ring.
underneath it.
Yeah, so it's like just a little rubber ring, that you slide on the bottom. And now
Okay.
that's my mad. So I know that one's my mad scientist, and this one's my spouse, and this is it. I just love that you do that. And then between generations, you can change it up. Like, who cares? Like, I purposely like took like the hunchback looking dude as my spouse the first time, because then it's like, well, you got to upgrade when you get married again. You got to upgrade. You know,
Hopefully
you gotta
she
do-
doesn't find out.
Yeah. Well, she may have already left you because you went crazy, which is another crazy thing in that game. But then it's got the different campaigns like in the box, right? Like, so there's like the disease one, the war one, and then I forget what the other one is. And like Mike was saying, and I try not to like jump too much on it because I was so excited about it. And it's so deserving to be on multiple lists.
Definitely.
But yeah, that campaign book, it's like a spiral book. And then, it just tells you to go to page X, so when you do this, you go to page X, and like just some of the way that the scenario, the components and everything matters, the artwork on the cards, like for the experiments that you're trying to do, all look awesome. I mean, this game is just one of the best produced games that I've ever played, and absolutely love it. I've got a ton of games on my honorable mention, and I didn't number my list until I got here. Like I had 11 games written down,
That's it?
and I had a bunch.
He's
of
usually got 19 written down.
and I was just going through my list, boom, 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 and I get to the last one. I'm like, well, my father's work. Like nothing.
Yeah.
It was sort of
Yeah.
like a
What
very
do I pick 2 through 10?
a very quick version of like Pub Meeple. It's like, well, this one or this one. Well, this one, no, I like this one better. So I'm not, so I was assigning my numbers that way, and I just like it fell to number one. Like I just like, I can't believe it's number one. I guess it is.
Did you use Pub Meeple or that
No,
was just
but
in your head?
just in my head, right?
Gotcha.
Like I'm just kind of in my brain going, oh, well, this one's better. I like this one better. And also, the gameplay was very satisfying. I enjoyed the game immensely,
Very good game.
and just find it to be fantastically made. I mean, Renegade Games just blew it out of
They
the
always,
Oh,
they
man.
just
always
blew
do.
it out of the water.
I was just going to mention, I really kind of waffled on like 4 games. Like my top 4 were all the one that I honestly considered as my number one. At one point I was like, oh, Lords of Hellas is my one. And I was like, no, it's got to be Foundations of Rome. I was like, no, it's got to be My Father's Work.
No,
It's like
that'll piss
all
off
of these
Tim.
games have incredible components, but yeah, it was tough to pick a one.
Yeah, agreed. So Andrew, no pressure.
Great choice.
What is your number one? I think I know
is-
what your number one's going to be, and I love
No,
it.
you don't.
No, I do. I think I
Yeah.
do.
This is bad.
Terraforming Mars.
Yeah.
Did I just crap all over your number one before?
No,
you could do
no,
it?
that game is ugly. My number one. Okay, so backstory. I had about 15 things to put into my top 10.
Uh-huh.
And look, 5 of them were Stonemaier games.
Called it.
So my number one is, what was your guess?
Stonemaier Games.
Stonemaier games.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you cannot deny the quality that Jamie, I forget the
Stegmaier?
other.
Oh, the other guy?
Jim.
I don't know.
Jim Stone.
Not sure.
I don't know. You cannot deny the amount of quality that they put into their work. I had Red Rising in my top 10 because despite those cubes,
That's their only miss for me with production.
the rest of the game.
The metallic cubes look great, but the colors are terrible choices.
sure.
But those foil cards, man. Those
the
gold
gold
inlay.
foil
Yeah.
and just the classiness of like, we're only gonna do shiny on the gold cards. Like that's
yeah.
just really cool. So you've got Red Rising, you've got Scythe, which has been brought up,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Bob wanted everybody to know that his number one was
Would have been Scythe.
You've got Tapestry,
Yeah,
which is just pre-painted, gorgeous. Man, those cards that each player gets, it's like a thick. It's not cardboard.
It's almost sandpaper.
It's almost sandpaper.
The grit on those boards so it holds your pieces in place.
Charterstone was on my top.
Charterstone's
10. Just
really well made.
Every single thing that company makes is high quality.
Mm-hmm.
They deserve the number one spot because regardless of what you think of their games, regardless if you think, people jump on the bandwagon for Wingspan, even Wingspan.
Really well
just
made game. Even if I think it's
every-
overrated, it is still really well
Yes.
made. Really well made.
Everything that company makes is high quality. I'm a little bit concerned about these 2 recent games, these Rolling Realms and this like little
Rolling Realms is fine, but that was
10-year
like,
anniversary game that's coming out. It's like a 10-minute long game.
oh,
I'm a
sure.
little, like, hey, what's going on here? I'm not really entirely sure, but everything that they make.
Oh, you're
is-
talking about that little 18 card game that they're giving away if you spend so much money on their website. Is that what
I
you're
have
talking
no
about?
idea. All I know is
I'm
it's
pretty
their
sure that's
10-year
what it
anniversary.
was.
Okay.
It's just a giveaway game. Basically,
Sure.
I'm sure they're selling it, but
Yeah.
I think the whole promo there was buy X number, spend
just
X
get it.
number of money
Okay.
at the website, and you'll get
Yeah.
this.
Well, I think the metal coins for Viticulture were the first metal coins that I encountered in a game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Same metal coins for me with Scythe, and it was just like,
I feel
even but what's true about Stonemaier is you can take away all of the deluxe and it's still a deluxe product.
Yeah.
It's still fantastic. everything about that company just screams quality, and I think they deserve the #1 spot.
Hey, I'm
Just
not gonna
every
I don't
game.
blame you there at all. I feel like I
Not
should be
arguing.
slapped for not even mentioning size metal coins. Like
Yeah.
I thought you did. Oh, you didn't.
I don't
Whose
think
metal
I
coins
did.
did you talk about?
Dinosaur Island and Foundations of
The
Rome.
dinosaur coins. Yeah.
But no, those coins are fantastic. I've added when I was at Gen Con, I added the red 5s. That's the bag of coins I carry around if I want to like add metal games or metal coins to any game I play. Those are the coins I use. They're awesome.
They're great. They are great. Well, that is the definitive list, right?
It is.
The
No
objective
ifs,
list,
ands,
actually.
or buts.
Yeah.
All 100% correct accuracy.
100% accurate.
So we can jump into some honorable mentions. It's a very easy segue for me to say that I almost put Wingspan on my list.
Oh, sure.
It's a gorgeous presentation. I like those pastel colors. I like the little wooden eggs. I like the plastic card containers that they came with. They're like that baby blue color that's kind of nice. The player boards are pretty good. I really like that birdhouse dice tower.
Yeah, it's
That is
fun.
a fantastic
It's
touch.
super fun.
Yeah.
I actually don't mind wooden dice, and I think the wooden dice
I don't
are
either. Bob hates wooden dice.
thematic with that game also. But when you set it all out, it just looks good. And
I
really
love the
like-
choices they made with the art style, right? With the
Yeah.
nature book version of the birds.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
man, I love the drawing of the birds and the flavor text at the bottom.
Yes.
A little tidbit about something about the bird itself, and Wingspan is just gorgeous.
It
It's
is.
a fun game to play. It was going to make my list.
yeah, super
Almost
good.
did.
The first honorable mention I'll name because I got several was the first game bumped off of my top 10. And it got bumped off because I remembered Mind Management on the way over. And because I was like, how could I forget Mind Management? But Oceans. So
Okay.
Oceans
Yeah.
by North Star Games has some of the best artwork. And this, if you buy the deluxe edition, which I recommend, which you can just get at retail, is it's got sleeves for all the cards.
Oh, cool.
Which are great. But the way that every card in the dark set is unique. Like there's no duplicates, right? There's always these base traits in the main cards, whatever that overlap. You're gonna see similar things, but those dark cards with them all being unique, with the artwork and everything that they do, and then you've got that tray with the fish, and then that's sort of your timer for the game, and and like how populated that you keep that, so you can feed everybody, all your critters and everything like that. Just awesome, really well made, super cool game. That was one of the first games we got to review for the show, not from North Star, but from the store. And we were all just like blown away when we opened up that deluxe edition and looked at it. It was nuts.
Yeah.
I love it.
A game that I'll just quickly mention two of them. One is extremely simplistic, and I was kind of going back and forth because the blocks are just very basic colors, just red, yellow, and blue. But the board of The King is Dead, it is just sharp. I love those. I think I've mentioned a couple times. Like I love those olden.
Looks like
art,
the classic.
classic like ye old.
Yeah, medieval
even know what
style.
yeah.
Sure.
And you just open it up and it's got that gold, similar to the Red Rising. It's just got that foil on it in specific parts, and man, that is just
That's got to be the
clean.
second edition because my first
second
edition, my
edition
first
is
edition was not that pretty.
so clean.
It's a really good game, but I did
And-
let it go.
And Parks and the Parks in Space, just once again, just clean, very, very beautiful artwork, but just didn't make it into my top. So Parks and just the nighttime parks as well.
Nice. Any other honorable mentions?
Yeah,
for
I
you?
got a couple more I'd bring up. Burn Cycle. This is
Oh,
a
sure.
chip theory
Sure,
games game.
So by definition, overproduced.
yes, exactly.
Chip Theory does not do anything halfway.
No,
they
they
were
don't.
mailing.
They were giving
people
reviewers swords.
Yeah, I saw that.
Swords.
I mean,
like
I'm
real
just,
ones.
I'm jealous. I'm not judging.
custom
I'm
swords,
just jealous.
Oh, I didn't show you guys my sword.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm out.
my bad.
Thought that was a butter
No,
knife.
we've got a review coming up for it. Hopefully, in the next couple weeks, that should launch.
Your sword?
Or
Yes.
Burn Cycle, one or the other.
Cycle.
Tune in to
Burn
see.
Yeah, both actually. It's a dual review. But yeah, it's the chips are cool. I actually the reason I included Burn Cycle is because at Gen Con, Bob went and picked up the magnetic brass miniatures, and holy crap, those just add an extra layer to the game. And, and I think it's necessary to have kind of some board presence in that game, because it's like you're moving these patrol units around and you're trying to like avoid being seen by them. But like if you go in across their path, you have to leave your bottom chip. You're always moving with 2 chips. You leave your bottom chip, and that's like the line of sight that he was able to see your last location.
Interesting.
Which I thought was kind of cool. But then you put these magnetic security guard miniatures on top of the chip, and it's magnetic, so it pulls the chip with it. It's like, oh my gosh. And they're very detailed. I mean, that whole game is neoprene. I mean, the board is neoprene, and all the player mats are neoprene, and you've got these tiny little like pegs that fit into holes on the neoprene mats, and that's how you mark stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have put that higher. Wait for the review, and you might see why I didn't put it on my list. But man, the components for Burn Cycle, absolutely fantastic. No expense spared. Of course, Bob has the neoprene mat as well. Yeah. It was too wide for this table. Like it was hanging off the edge. So I'll do one more honorable mention. This is a retail one. This is another one that we actually reviewed. Gen Con release, Gen Con hit, Turing Machine. Why Turing Machine? Because what went into producing that card system that makes that you're like trying to figure out this 3-digit code. So you grab, all right, maybe I'll try 4, 1, and 3, and then you stack them together. When you stack them together, there's these holes that come out, and it'll display either an X or a check mark, letting you know that the theory that you just tested is incorrect or correct. Or and just what went into that blows my mind.
I mean, they've got a thing on the side of the box that tells you if you put the box on right.
Yeah, like it matches. Fantastic retail production. I mean, holy crap. They really hit it out of the park.
Yeah,
with
Hatchet Games.
Yeah. Also Scorpion Mask, I think, is the primary publisher. But holy crap, I was super impressed with how that system came together and those cards.
For sure. Well, I'll bust through mine. Cthulhu Wars was one of mine. I think
those miniatures.
I left it off because I don't think that the map itself looks good. I don't think any of the maps really look great. I mean, they're all tonally fine, and you're not really looking at that when you're. That's not what you're judging the table presence of that game. You're judging it by the, 6-inch tall, great old ones that are on the table. Your action figures, and then if you have the deluxe or the Kickstarter version, then you've got the 3D gates, which then my buddy Pete painted for me. So they all look great. So Cthulhu Wars I left off because I did do some sprucing up, to make it a little tighter, and nicer, But anyways, that was the first Kickstarter I ever backed. It was a big boy, and I took a big flyer on it. It was really lucky that it
you went big. That was your first Kickstarter? Holy crap.
Yeah, I went real big.
Wow.
Real big. It was a big swing on the first edition of it too.
Wow.
Nice. And, I thought I was going to get screwed because it took like 3 years to fill, and my wife's like, you better get your money, you better get your game. And I'm like, I know. But she wasn't wrong. But I've played that game so much, I've gotten my money's worth over and over. Anyways, Wonder Book should have been an honorable mention. It is really well made, beautiful art. The pop-up book itself and all of the secrets within, fantastic. Barrage is a really well-made game. Really neat components. I thought of it when you were talking about Zolkin.
Scary box.
It's intimidating.
Yeah.
Same designers.
The Italians, right? But they've got that wheel, that production wheel. You put your workers in, and then you've got to do things to basically turn that wheel, and then you get your workers.
That's cool.
Back when you make that wheel go all the way around. But Barrage is really crunchy, really fun, really well made. Empire's Age of Discovery is one of my all-time favorite games. Glenn Drover,
friend of the show,
Ben legit,
Knighted.
And Knighted, Sir Glenn Drover. But that is just an excellent game. The Eagle Griffin game version, they're almost all their games are super well produced. But those big 3D ships and then like the unique minis, depending on like what kind of person you're using, just really great. And then the one that if I had played this game would be my number one hands down. This is a game that I will never be able to afford to own. But have you seen the War of the Ring Deluxe Edition?
Never mind. I thought you were going to say Kingdom Death
Oh,
Monster.
Kingdom Death Monster, sure.
I wanted to put it on there, but
The War of the Ring Deluxe Edition, it comes in a book. Like the
Wow.
box looks like a book that's like this big.
Jeez.
It opens up and there's literally like ceramic minis for the
Jeez.
locations on the board. You know, so like the different the forts and the cities and
Let's
everything.
get it.
And like I've
How
seen
much is it? $500?
no, like $1,500, if
Wow.
that. It may be more, more. It's huge, weighs a ton, super well produced. I've seen it at conventions. Like
Yeah.
I've seen people playing it, and like I've just kind of like timidly gotten close.
Yeah.
It's like I don't even want to breathe on this thing.
Sure.
You know, God forbid anything happened to it. But it is so well made. It is so beautiful for a classic game that I own, haven't played. I got like just a regular edition. But anyways, the War of the Ring Deluxe Edition. I should also mention now, I just thought of this, Poseidon's Kingdom. Have you heard of the Lamont brothers? So the
Yeah.
Lamont brothers used to put out like one game a year or every couple of years. And, you know, the quality of the game was debatable, but the components of the game. So like I got Poseidon's Kingdom. I hunted this one down and found it, and you build this wave. So it's like a cardboard wave that like rocks, and you seed dice on it. And so when you do certain things, you're going to tip the wave, and the die are going to roll out onto the board, and where they land are basically where they're at. But the real awesome thing is the ceramic, fully painted miniatures for the different things, like the octopus and the dolphin and the starfish and different things like that. And they just looks amazing. And I have to hide this game because if my children see it, they will want to play with it, and it will inevitably get broken. But it is probably one of the best produced games that I own. The game itself is fine. It's not like, it's more like, hey guys, you got to see this, you know, and then you play an hour-long game and you're like, oh, the game was fine. But like, it's not as satisfying as some of the other like really well-produced games, which is why it's not on my list. But those are all of my also ran honorable mentions, etc.
There we go.
etc. etc.
And I've got no more. I've got
We
two
had-
honorable mentions. That's all you get from me.
Yeah,
We had one crossover.
one crossover with my father's work. Excellent.
And
And I didn't even
blanket statemented
Did
Stonemeyer.
Yeah.
We had my father's work.
Yeah, and I didn't even like
Wow.
manipulate my list to avoid crossover.
Yeah.
Like I just went with my list.
That was impressive.
So, you know.
Very diverse.
What else you
Very
got?
diverse video. Oh, no, that's all I got.
That's it.
So there you go. That is 30 plus excellent component games.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're
And
still with us,
We thought with 3 people this would take this would be a quick
well,
one.
you know, it's quickish.
Hey, we had a good time.
But
We had a
here's-
good
It's
time.
not a 2-hour snoozer. At
right,
least.
right, right.
That's
Yeah,
the
that's true.
important.
I'm
Yeah,
still
we don't
awake.
have to sell pillows for this one. But I will say though, right? Like I think that all of us found a couple games even on our list that you could buy retail that you don't have to spend a couple $100 to
Except
get
Mike.
these super crazy versions.
Mike needs
I had
the
a
deluxe.
couple. I had
Yeah,
2
right.
Czech games on here.
yeah,
they don't
yeah.
even do kicks.
I don't think
I mean,
they don't do many.
Zolkin and
Deluxe
Lost
as well, do they?
Arnak.
Arnak are two you buy right off the shelf. Look great.
Yeah.
Look super cool.
Cool.
Also, I could recommend like the yellow. I believe it is the yellow produced versions of like Mexica and Tikal,
Oh yeah,
those are really well made,
Those
too.
do look really good.
and they're not like crazy, stupid expensive. And you get some evergreen games. They're just reprints of the classics. But, but anyways, guys. So, what are your favorite components in games?
Yes.
What are your games with the best components ever?
ever,
Tell us why we're wrong.
forever.
Tell-
That's why I'm right.
Tell-
me why I'm right.
Tell me why Foundations of Rome is worth $250.
Here we go.
Or
Sounds like a
Till
great
next
time to end
time.
this video.
Yeah. Until next time.
thank you guys for watching. For the Board Game Rundown, I've been Tim.
I've been Mike.
I am Andrew.
We'll see you around. Thanks for watching.
See ya.